Welcome to BDJ Daily Torah, a service of B'nai David Judaic Congregation in Los Angeles. Here is Assistant Rabbi David Stein.
We'll talk tonight a little bit about the mitzvah, the obligation, the law of ben sorer u'moreh that appears at the very beginning of our parsha. It's really this challenging law to execute a child who disrespects his parents. And what I want to deal with tonight is actually just first looking at how Chazal dealt with this, kind of just on the moral level, the moral question of the execution of a child. The first and most important point is certainly not a child. The beginning of the Gemara's discussion of this in Sanhedrin kind of clarifies that it's this very specific period of time that a ben sorer u'moreh is executed. Under bar mitzvah, you can't punish a child. They haven't actually reached an age of obligation in mitzvot. They haven't reached a level of responsibility. So it's not a child, but also it's a ben sorer u'moreh. It's not an adult either. And so there's this kind of narrow window of time in which this would apply. But the moral question kind of still stands. The Mishnah in Sanhedrin kind of famously deals with it by saying that ben sorer u'moreh is nidon al shem sofo, that we're not actually executing or prosecuting this individual because of something they've done now. It's hard to speak of kind of a justification of the execution of even a child, right, who has reached the age of responsibility. Mitzvot is still 13 and 14-year-old is a difficult thing to do. And so the Mishnah kind of approaches this by saying, well, really, we're judging this person based on sofo, based on what we know is going to become of them in adulthood. And this kind of attempt to understand the punishment of ben sorer u'moreh is kind of really putting it not on a current prosecution, but actually what we think this individual is going to become. Not sure that it actually answers the moral question. Certainly, it removes the possibility of repentance. It removes the possibility of change. It's kind of still a difficult thing to understand. And so the Tosefta kind of has a different approach that says lo haya velo nivra. There actually is no such thing as a ben sorer u'moreh. This category of individual, this prosecution, has never happened, will never happen. And if you're bothered by the kind of moral possibility of executing a child for disrespecting their parents, you shouldn't be, because we would never do so. So why is it sounds like we would do so? It's very much from the psukim in the Torah. Sounds like we take this child out and execute them. And yet the Gemara says, no, it's really just taught derush v'kabel schar. It's really taught for the Talmud Torah aspect of it. It's taught entirely, and the law is given for us to expound. The law is taught not for us to apply, not for us to actually carry out, but entirely for us to do the work of analysis, understanding, and explanation that we do when we deal with kind of legal with law in the Torah. And this is specifically one of those cases. But it's not intended for us to carry out. It is not a practical commandment because of this moral question, ostensibly. And so you really have kind of two very different approaches. The Yerushalmi also kind of deals with this. Yerushalmi kind of, in its discussion, kind of raises the fact that there's all these peculiar instances, there are all these peculiar rules for a Ben Sorel Moret that we're not going to get into tonight, but the Yerushalmi kind of raises this issue that nothing makes sense about about the laws of Ben Sorel Moret, and therefore suggests the Yerushalmi this really can only be seen as a Gzeirat HaMelech, as a something that we are obligated to do, even though we really don't understand it, and that kind of this the moral challenge here really actually fits in with many of the legal questions, legal peculiarities of a Ben Sura Moret. And so I want to highlight kind of these three very different approaches to the ethical issue here. Ben Sura Moret, a complete justification of it, and on the other hand, a really complete, seemingly rejection of this practice. And then kind of this middle route that says, even though we really can't understand it, certainly from a moral lens, and even from a legal lens, nevertheless, this is something that we would have to carry out, that we have to do, despite the kind of the moral difficulty. And so we really have those kind of three directions within Chazal for understanding this commandment.
You've been listening to BDJ Daily Torah, a service of B'nai David Judaic Congregation in Los Angeles. To learn more about our synagogue, visit bnaidavid.com.